one of their newer ones. Actually, do I have this now that I do? Okay, that's dumb. I had it pulled up like I didn't actually own this book. LOL. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with a summer TBR. So, am I making a summer TBR that I think I will never actually complete? Yes. But I just love making seasonal TBRs, and the idea of not making a summer TBR this year I didn't like that. So I decided to do it. It's not super long. There's only 10 books on this list. And actually a couple of them you will have already seen because they are in my May TBR. So the plan is just to give myself some options and then we will see what happens. We obviously don't know what the summer is going to hold, but I wanted to give myself some options so that, you know, when it's super late at night and I'm feeding our daughter, or it's the middle of the day and I'm just holding her, or like something where I can like listen to an audiobook. I have a stack of books I can choose from, and also because we're not doing like any sort of summer vacation this summer, obviously, that, you know, if I just want that vibe, that's something that's going to give me like the beachy summer warm weather vibe, I have some options. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Again, like I said, there's only 10 on this list, which is, I think, smaller than it's been in the last couple of years, but I love me a good seasonal TBR, so we're gonna do this anyway, and we're just gonna see what happens. These are some books that I'm very excited about that give me that summer vibe. The first one is a Christina Lauren book, because of course I had to have a Christina Lauren book on this list, and that is Something Wilder. This is not their most recent book, or even their most recent 2 books, but it's the most recent one of theirs that I own, and it gives me summer vibes because it follows a treasure hunter, or daughter of a treasure hunter, who basically gives tours of said treasure map because she thinks it's nothing and she needs some money. So she does this, and then on one of the excursions, I believe an ex of hers or someone that she has known from her past that she's had some sort of romantic connection with shows up, and they actually discover that this map may or may not actually be real. They do end up going and trying to figure out if this map is real. So you've got some treasure hunter vibes. It takes place kind of in a Midwestern, deserty, kind of mountainous location. I'm kind of combining a bunch together. So it's giving the like hiking in the summer kind of vibes. So I love Christina Lauren. I'm not a huge fan of these kinds of travel novels, if you will, where like a big chunk of the book is them traveling to a location, but it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a mystery with them figuring out if this treasure is real. And I would do anything for Christina Lauren, honestly. Like, I don't care what they write, I'm gonna read it. So this one is one that I would love to get to. The next one is the only one that I don't physically own, and that is because I think it's officially out now, but it's super, yeah, it came out at the beginning of April, but it's like real new. And that is Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. I love this author. I believe I've read everything by them. There's only 2 books, I believe, that are out. And this author really likes to write kind of messy queer stories, and this one sounds like it's going to be no different. So we follow 2 best friends who were really, really close when they were younger, and they are forced to, something has happened and they are no longer friends, and they both happen to be teachers in this small town. And the top of this synopsis says that it's a new queer rom-com following once childhood best friends forced together to drive their former teacher across the country. And based on what some of the synopsis says, it kind of reminds me of The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary, where you have like these 2 people who are doing a road trip that are quite literally forced together. So I don't know why they're forced together. I don't know what has happened there. I don't know what this other teacher has to do with it. But it's a road trip. You can tell by the cover. It's super fun. Not a huge fan of road trips like I mentioned, but another author that I would do literally anything for. So I'm going to do that. I love this author. Like I said, everything I've read by this author has been amazing. 5 stars. I love them so much. So this is the next one, and it came out this year. So I want to get my hands on it at some point. And I'm so excited. It just screams summer to me. The next one is Lola at Last by J.C. Peterson. This is the author of Being Mary Bennett, which I love. This is a YA book, and usually I steer clear of YA. You guys know that YA doesn't always work for me, but I really enjoyed Being Mary Bennett, and this one follows her younger sister. It's not necessarily, like, it's not marketed as a series or a sequel or anything like that. It just happens to follow in the same family, so you can read them out of order. But Being Mary Bennett is one that I loved, but the characters in that are very, very loosely based and inspired by the story of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and this is the next one. This one follows Lola, who is the youngest of 5, and she is the Lydia Bennet character. And so in this book, it says, when you've burned every bridge, it's time to blaze a new trail. She's a lot. We met her in the last book, and she's just a lot of personality, which you expect from a Lydia-inspired character. She's kind of hit a rough spot. It says here that she is fresh off a scandal that tanked her social life at school. She has a twin that she is now estranged from. She had friends that she's no longer friends with, and put a fiery end to the first party of the summer. So she's been given an ultimatum, either jail time or to spend the summer at a nonprofit called Hike Like a Girl. So she does. So it's a summer book. It's camp. It's like a summer camp. And she goes there, and like looking at all these, these covers are just stunning. So I have a feeling we're going to meet some new friends. I have a feeling we might meet a new guy or meet a guy that she is romantically involved in. But I just really liked all of the very, very sneaky hints to Pride and Prejudice in the last book, and I'm curious to see what this one's like. It definitely is going to be a coming of age story, but it takes place at a summer camp. So when I'm in the mood for this one, I'll pick it up. I'm not sure when it's going to be because I've had it for a couple of years, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited. All right, the next one, I'm not entirely sure why this gives me summer vibes, except for the fact that it just is oceanic in some way, and that is Remarkably Bright Creatures, and this is by Shelby Van Pelt. I actually got this for Christmas from my mother-in-law. She loved this book and gave it to me as a gift. And so I don't know a lot about it, but it says it's a charming, witty, and compulsory readable exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope that traces a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. So I think it's this woman who obviously is a widow, and she follows this octopus. I don't know anything else about it, but I think because it's set at this, like a sea, like it's got this aquatic animal, I feel like it's very summer, you know? And this is not usually the book that I tend to gravitate towards, but for some reason in the past like few months, I've just been really itching to pick this one up. I think it's going to be like a really heartfelt story. It's, I think, a literary fiction, so it's not anything like I usually read, but I trust her opinion. She's going to have very, very similar opinions on a lot of books. And I'm just really curious to see what this one's about. And it's about time I read it, because I'm really bad at reading gifts that I've been given, especially at Christmas. So this one just feels summer, and I really hope I like it because it's definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm excited to give it a try nonetheless. The next one is one that I've had on my TBR for a couple of years, and that is The Holiday by T.M. Logan. This one is a mystery thriller set during the summer, and it says 7 days, 3 families, 1 killer. And so I think it follows our main character. If I remember correctly, it's like I said, it's been a couple of years, but our main character goes to the holiday every single year with 4 best friends and their husbands and their children, and it's in Provence. But something happens, and she suspects her husband of having an affair with one of the other people at this getaway, and then I think someone shows up dead. So the reason I haven't picked this one up is because I don't think an audiobook of it exists. I don't think. Don't quote me on that. A couple of years ago when I got this, because I did get this for a specific readathon, and I can't remember what it was now that I've done it, but it's been a while, and I picked it up because one of the prompts was like a summer thriller, and I didn't have anything like this, and this was a recommendation, and it sounded good, and it still sounds good, and I still want to read it, but I keep putting it off because of the no audiobook thing. So I need to actually investigate again, because it's, like I said, it's been a couple of years, so there might be one now, and I might be able to pick it up. But there's just something about this. Obviously, it's about a holiday. It's about people going on vacation in the summer, but it's thrillery, and I'm just in the mood for thrillers. You know, like, I don't know what it is, but like recently I've just been really gravitating towards thrillers, which is why there's definitely a couple on my TBR for this TBR, but also my TBR for the month. So we'll see. This is one of the ones that I hold the least amount of hope for as far as reading it, but I definitely want to get to it, and I don't want to get rid of it, which is why I've held on to it for so long, because it just sounds so good. The next one I actually might have had on a previous list. I'm looking at this, and I think there's only like 2 books on this list that have been on other ones, and that one is The Guncle. This is by Stephen Rowley. This is I think it's supposed to be humorous at times, if I am correct, but we follow our main character named Patrick, or as he is known by his lovable family, Gay Uncle Patrick, or Gup for short, and he loves his niece and nephew, but he enjoys the fact that they only come for short periods of time. I believe he lives in California, and he lives in Palm Springs, and they always come for week-long visits, but they need to head back to Connecticut, which is where they're from, but something unfortunately happens to these kids' parents, and he ends up being their legal guardian. So it's him figuring out how to be the fun uncle and transitioning that into an actual legal guardian situation. So it's not the happiest of setups, but I think watching him become a parent to these people, or to his niece and nephew, is going to be an interesting story. It's not super long, which is good, but I don't know, there's just something about this that sounds like it's going to be, even though it's a hard topic, like I said, a hard setup to the story, I think it's going to be a very enjoyable story, and like a very wholesome story as well. So that one's on the list as well. The next one is actually the next 2 are the ones that were on my TBR for May, so you've already seen them. The first one being Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is the second book in the Bellinger Sisters series, the first one being It Happened One Summer. It's just a series that follows 2 sisters in this fisherman town. This one follows Hannah and the main guy, Fox, who is best friends with the guy from the first book, and he always gets the girl. He always is like a ladies' man, and she's not interested in that, so they agree to be friends. She comes back to this small fisherman town, and I think for work. I can't remember exactly what she does, but I believe she comes back for work, and has a huge crush on a coworker, and he agrees to help her win said coworker. Obviously, that's not going to work out according to their plan, so it's going to be a romance between the 2 of them. I have a feeling that she might stay with him when she visits. I don't know, but I don't have any proof of that. But the last one was definitely like a summer book, and I don't know if this one actually takes place in the summer, but I always want a good contemporary romance in the summer. So this is one that I'm excited about. The next one is, like I said, the other book that you would have seen because it was in my TBR for the month, and that is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, and this is by Shannon Chakraborty. I always stumble upon her name. This is, I believe, the first in a new series, but not new, but like it's the first in a series. I might be wrong about that, but it follows pirates on the sea, and that's why I think it's very summery. So we obviously follow our main character. I believe her first name is Amina. Yes. She has survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family and a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of supernatural. But when she's offered a job no bandit could refuse, she jumps at the chance for one final adventure with her old crew that will make her a legend. So she was retired, and she's coming out of retirement. It's fantastical. It seems like fun. It's kind of thick when it comes to books, but this is my Fairy Loot edition. I got it, I believe this was my very first Fairy Loot adult box that I got a while ago. This one was actually from February of 2023. So it just sounds like fun, and I have been wanting to pick it up recently. And I do love a good pirate story, but I have to be in the right mood for one. And I'm thinking this is the mood. So it's a thick fantasy, but I'm excited to see how this works, and then I can investigate if there is more or not. And I've also never read anything by this author, but I've heard amazing things about this author, so I definitely want to give her a chance. All right, the next one is like the only historical romance I have on this list, and you think I'd have more on this list, considering that, like, for me, historical romances are very summer vibes, but we're going with this one, and that is Duke Gone Rogue, and this is by Christy Carlisle. It's the first in a Love on Holiday series. I don't know how many there are actually in the series, but obviously it's like a companion. This one follows our two main characters, William and Madeline, and it takes place at the coast, and she is part of the welcoming committee in this town. She owns a flower shop, and she's trying to get everything kind of up and running, and the princess is going to come and judge their annual flower show. Well, he is a very, very grumpy duke. He used to be carefree, and now he's like a total catch. People, like, he's a duke, he's got money, he's got everything people could want, but he's a stick in the mud, so no one knows how to get his attention, and his sister comes up with this plan to send him to the coast where they have a house, and basically hopefully that'll, like, get him to be carefree again. And so Madeline is trying her hardest to get this duke to make the house look good, because it's kind of run down. So she's trying to get him to make it look pretty before the princess shows up. But of course they have history, and she kissed him once in London a few months ago and is trying to forget that. So it's their story. It's set on the coast, like I keep saying, which is why it gives me that summer vibe. I love a good historical romance, so that one is on the list as well. And the very last book that's on this list, I think, was on a previous summer list. It's also a mystery, and that is Killers of a Certain Age, and this is by Deanna Rayburn. And this one is about a bunch of retired assassins, basically. And they worked for this company, and so they end up going on holiday. It's 4 women. I believe they're over the age of 60. Yeah, they spent their lives as the deadliest assassins in an international organization, but now that they're 60 years old, 4 female friends can't just retire. It's kill or be killed in this action-packed thriller. So, like, they've spent 40 years working for this company called the Museum, and now they are deciding to go on vacation as like a retirement thing. But of course you can't actually leave the business, so there are some other agents, some much younger agents, who are sent to kill them. And so it's kind of like old ways versus new ways. I've heard it's going to be kind of funny because of just like the setup of this, so I don't really know what we're getting into. I've had this on my TBR for a very long time, so I'm hoping that this is the summer that I get to it, because again, I'm in the mood for mysteries right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But this is one that I definitely have had on a previous TBR. And I don't know why, maybe just because they go on vacation, that gives me the summer vibe, but it's giving me summer vibes. And that's it. That is a look at some books that I have on my summer TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know, as always, if you've read any of the books that I mentioned in today's video, or if there's books that if you're a seasonal reader, tell me what you were interested in reading this summer, or what would be some books that you would recommend as summer reading. I am always open to more. You guys know this. I have a never-ending TBR, and I'm always happy to add things to it. So if you've got some summer reads or just some good things that you have been enjoying, let me know all the fun stuff down below. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all that out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Spaced out halfway through my outro, so I really hope it made sense, because I don't know if I did it right or not.